Are you ready to turn heads? Luxury isn't just worn, it's experienced. Introducing a Layla Cara style and new up-and-coming designer collection where exclusive shoes and bags for men and women meets your feet. How about you take a handbag and wear it in style, where each piece is personally designed by Layla Carroll herself and handcrafted from the finest material in Italy. Leather, smooth like butter, bold, timeless, distinctly you. Step into true elegance and make your mark with a Layla Cara style where confidence meets craftsmanship. Visit a Layla Cara style and experience the luxury of art that you wear. Hello and welcome back to Improving Your Thoughts by Freeing Yourself. I'm your host, Layla Carroll. Today's episode is one I need you to hear slowly and not rush through it. Not multitasking through it unless you're driving. If you're driving, it is okay. Please pay attention to the road while you listen, but just hear what is being said to you slowly. But to really listen to it and to hear it. This episode is titled, Purpose is Not Hustle. Because if you've ever thought to yourself, if I stop, everything will fall apart. If I rest, I'm being lazy. If I'm not productive, I'm not valuable. This episode is for you if you ever thought like that. We're talking about the lies, many lies that have been handed to us many years ago in our early lives. That purpose equals hustle. That calling equals burnout. That worthiness comes from exhaustion. None of that is true. And we're going to gently unlearn that today. I know it's going to take a while for some of you guys to unlearn it because you've been taught this your entire life. You even seen it from your parents. You've seen it from your uncles and cousins and relatives and aunties and stuff, how they getting out there and getting it and grinding. That is not purpose. That is hustle. And that is not what this episode is about. And that is not what this season is about. This season is about your purpose. You're trying to find your purpose, live in your purpose, and become all who you are. Breaded, not just breaded, but actually created to be. I want you to take a deep breath. Inhale through your nose. Hold it for 4 seconds. So let's do that together. Hold it. And I want you to release it through your mouth slowly. Yes. And that calms you down. It also helps you to stay focused and to concentrate, okay? And relaxed. All right. I want you to know that you are allowed to rest while you are listening to this podcast. So if you're not driving, rest. If you are driving, just pay attention to the road, but pay attention, okay? Let's talk about how hustle how it became a substitute for work, because that's what actually really is going on in today's world. No one is really caring about their purpose. They're just hustling and getting by and trying to survive. And if we knew that hustling was a burnout for everybody, you'd probably say to yourself, I think it's time to slow down. It's time to change that. So how hustle became a substitute for worth? Somewhere along the way, many of us learned that being busy made us safe. But all busy did was keep us needed by others. It kept us being praised by others, and it kept us distracted from our feelings. We never was paying attention anymore to our feelings. We stopped paying attention. We stopped paying attention to our feelings. So some of us, hustle started as survival, which is understandable and definitely is necessary and okay during certain particular times of your life. If you grew up in chaos, being productive meant to you that you were in a problem. So if you wasn't productive, you needed to do something to figure out how to get out of the chaos that you were living in. So if you grew up in chaos, being productive meant you wasn't a problem. So that's the reason why you had to do something. If you grew up seen, or let's say you grew up unseen, being unseen, no one was paying attention to you or anything like that, and you felt like you was invisible, well, achieving something in your life, no matter how big or small it was, as long as someone was able to praise you and to recognize that you have accomplished something, what that meant to you was that you was finally noticed. Or let's say if you grew up needing to prove something to yourself, it felt dangerous. Rest felt dangerous to you. You knew that you had to prove something to yourself, whatever it is that you needed to accomplish in your mind and prove that you can get it done. Whenever you rested, whenever it was time for you to just settle down and rest, it felt dangerous instead of feeling like it was needed. So hustle wasn't ambition, it was protection. But protection is not purpose. Purpose doesn't demand that you abandon your body. Purpose doesn't require you to earn your rest. Purpose doesn't punish you when you slow down. And if your definition of purpose feel like pressure, something is off. And it's time for you to realign yourself. Let's talk about why hustle blocks your purpose, because it does. It really does block you from living in your purpose and doing what you was actually here for. Hustle keeps you in constant output mode where you're always putting out, always giving, always doing something, always trying to release something that is inside of you. But purpose requires input, which allows you to be able to receive. You receive from others, you can receive from yourself, you can receive from what you have already put out. Is finally sprouting up some root, as well as allowing you to see the fruits and to receive it. Like I always say that you should enjoy the fruits of your labor. If you're always doing something and you're never able to enjoy the output that you put out and enjoy what it is actually putting back into you, if you can't enjoy it, then you're not living in your purpose. You should be able to enjoy the fruits of your labor. So for an example, as you know, I'm a flight attendant. So when I am flying and I'm working a lot, I always tell myself, okay, it's time for me to take a vacation. I need to use my benefits. I put a lot into this job, into this company, and I deserve to be a passenger too sometimes. So let me get out here and find somewhere to go so I can enjoy the fruits of my labor. I'm literally putting too much into it. I need to get something out of it. I know I also tell other flight attendants who are new to the company, and I asked them, have you used your benefits yet? And they were like, nah. I said, what are you waiting on? I said, the first time I got a chance to use my benefits, I went to Vegas for the first time. I went for one day to Vegas. I had never been before, and I always said I wanted to go. So I just took a day trip and just went to Vegas. And it was worth it, even though it was for one day, but it was worth it. So that is what I'm saying, to do something. If you're going to do something, get something out of it. You should be able to enjoy the fruits of your labor. Okay? Purpose requires you to listen to your next step in your life, not just trying to figure it out on your own. Purpose requires stillness for you to hear your inner spirit talking to you. Purpose requires discernment for you to be protected along the way. Because whatever your purpose is, it's not going to always be easy, but you will be protected while you're living in your purpose. When you're always rushing, you can't hear intuition. You can't feel alignment. You confuse urgency with importance. Hustle asks.
We'll be back after a quick break.
If you haven't already, check out my luxury shoe and bag collection, a Layla Cara style. Each piece is personally designed by me and handcrafted from genuine Italian leather. Whether you're dressing up or keeping it casual, these pieces were made to help you walk with confidence. Because real style starts from how you feel. Go to alaylacarolstyle.com and experience these bold, timeless, and completely all you. Check it out. You might find something you like. What can I produce? But purpose asks, what feels true? You see the difference in the two? See, you're trying to produce something and you're actually hustling when you're trying to produce. But when you stop and you listen to yourself and you listen to your inner spirit talking to you, you are feeling the truth. This is what I feel that I need to do. I can't shake it, and it's there. Every day I wake up, I can feel it. It's talking to me. So you are listening to your purpose. But if you're trying to produce something and you say, let me make this, let me make that, and then I'm going to get out here and sell it. Okay. Is that what you felt? Or is that something that you think you just need to do to make some extra money or something, or to survive? That's how you discern the difference. And those questions lead to very different lives. So that's why you see one person who out here hustling, they got it going on in one way, and they feel, it seems like they got it going on, and they probably do, but the minute that they stop, everything stops. But then you got someone who's living in their purpose, and they seem to be very happy and content, and the minute that they slow down, they ain't stopped because they live in their purpose. They just slow down. It seems like everything just continue to keep moving for them. And he's like, dang, you're resting, but you ain't doing anything, but you still making it because they're living in their purpose. You don't have to hustle to live in your purpose. You can rest, okay? If your day is full, but your soul feel empty, that's important information for you to take in. It's not failure, though. It's just for you to take that information in. So let's talk about signs you're hustling instead of living in your purpose. Let's talk about these signs. You might be hustling, not living in your purpose, if you feel guilty when you're resting. You measure your value by your output, and there are so many people that do this. They always talk about, especially on these reality shows. I sit and listen to some of these women. You know, I watch reality shows because I do get a lot of information, and it gives me an opportunity to see people in their life. And I sit there and I say, if these people really value the things that they're arguing about, then they're not living in their purpose, because you shouldn't have to argue about whatever it is that you have accomplished. It should just be shown, and people should be able to see it and recognize it without you mumbling a humbling word about it. And I've seen a lot of people flaunt the things that they have. They want to show off their house, they want to show off their cars, show off everything that they have to prove to the world that they're somebody. And your purpose don't even care about what you got. Your purpose don't even care about you having to show off anything, because it will show for itself. Everyone will recognize it for themselves. They don't have to have you screaming it or put it in their faces. They will recognize it when they see it. So that's the difference between that. So if you're measuring your value with your output, you're not living in your purpose, you're hustling. Or you panic when things slow down. So you should be able to slow down without it feeling like a problem to you. Let's talk. What about you're productive but you're disconnected? Ooh, that's a big one. Being productive and disconnected at the same time? Ooh, that happens a lot too. You got some people who they take a job and they're busy, but they hate the job. And that means they're disconnected from what they're doing. If you find yourself that way, it will put you in a hustling spirit because you hate it and you just doing it just because you feel like you need it just to get by. Now, I remember when I was working at HP when I first got started, and when I got there, I knew I was hustling because I needed a job. And during this time, I remember I wasn't trained properly. And so I was told that I had to be the quarter. And the quarter was to produce 75 units a night. And I was thinking, I need to build and test 75 units? That's a lot, I don't even know what I'm doing. And because I wasn't trained properly. So I'm thinking like, we finna have to quit this job. That was my mindset. Matter of fact, I even mentioned it to my supervisor. So I think I'm gonna have to let this job go because I'm not being trained properly and I don't know what I'm doing. So he told me, he said, you know what? I got another area I want to put you in. Let's test you out over here, try you out actually over here. And I think you will like this. It's a more slower pace. And I think you will like this. So I ended up going over there to that area and he was correct. I did like it because it was a lot slower than the place I was at first. Well, the thing is that I still wasn't sure about what it was that I was doing. I was being productive. I was getting the numbers out, but I was very disconnected because I didn't understand what it was I was doing. I just knew the process. Let's just do this, then do that, then do this, then do that. And if I get this sign, if I get a green, I'm good. If I get a red, I'm bad. And then I started getting a lot of reds and I would have to yell out, repair, repair. And then when the guy come over, he would fix a problem and he'll walk away. Well, that happened too many times where I got sick of calling repair. And I say, wait a minute, before you walk away, I need you to explain to me, what is it that I'm doing wrong? Why am I getting a red? And what can I do to fix it? Because you did that too quick and I can actually do what you just did. And so he explained to me step by step what it was. And then I started understanding. And now I'm able to not only produce, but now I'm able to connect to what it is I'm actually doing. And I got really good at it. I got so good at it to where by my third month of working there, I'm 3 months in now, I had my supervisor come to me and he said, I got a new hire. I want you to train her. And I'm like, wait a minute. I just started. How am I training somebody? And I just got started. He said, you picked up on what you're doing so fast. And not only that you picked up on it, you did something that most people don't do. You understood. You wanted to know what it was that you're doing so you can get better. And you got better. You got so better that you're putting out more than we even require you to put out. 75 a night is your number that we want you to put out, but you're putting out over 75. And that tells me you need to be training. Okay. So that's what I'm saying. Be connected to whatever you're producing. And I remember another story. Yes, I got another one. So this is recently happening like a few days ago. This girl, I met her in Starbucks. And I told y'all about this in another podcast. So she was doing insurance and everything, but she also does hair. And I gave her my number and I told her that she can contact me if she need any advice or just want a friendship to talk. And she's new to Houston and she's 19 years old. She don't know nobody. And I was like, hey, I'm okay with, taking you under my wings to mentor you or whatever, if that's what you want. And she was like, yeah. I said, but I'm not trying to join your insurance team, just to let you know. Well, I got 3 different calls from 3 different people that she gave my number away to. And the first 2 times, I just basically just took it as, okay, not a big deal. But by the 3rd time, I got annoyed. And I mentioned to the person, so the person, she reached out, she said, hey, I'm such and such, you don't know me. I got your number from old girl, and I want to invite you to my event. And she started going into sales mode on me. And I hate sales mode. I don't like it when someone trying to get me to buy in on something that I didn't ask for. Like, I didn't come to you. So don't come to me. Now, you can present your stuff to me and make me aware of it. And if I actually want to join, then I would tell you I want to join. Or if I need it in the future, then I know who to come to. But at this moment, I'm not interested. And she started being pushy. Oh my God, it was pissing me off. And this is through text message. And I'm like, I could feel the energy through a text message. And she was like, hey, let's do dinner. Let's do lunch. Let's do brunch. Let's do this. Let's meet up. Let's meet up. And I'm like, no. I said, look, I'm a flight attendant. I love what I do. I'm not going to quit my job. And I own 2 businesses. And she was like, well, that's good. I'm an engineer. And I also I own 3 daycares. And I do this too. So it's possible you can do this. And I said, who in the world told you that's what I wanted to do? I said, let me just make it really clear to you. I know what it is that you're doing. My deceased husband did exactly what you're doing, the insurance broker and agent, all that. I know how this go. You got to go through all these meetings. I got to get somebody on my team. Then I'm on your team. And then you getting paid off of me, and everybody that I bring on my team, you're getting paid off them, just like the person above you is getting paid off of you and everybody under you. I know how this goes, and I'm not interested in it because y'all are very, very demanding. And not only you demanding, you're time consuming. That means I have to go out here, find some people to be interested, get my family involved. You're going to tell me get 5 people or whatever to come to the meetings and show up. They're going to be annoyed because it's not what they want to do. And that's what happened to me with the girl in New York who said that she was only wanting me to help her out with getting the experience of her brokerage, but then not exclude or include to me, disclose to me, meant to say disclose, and did not disclose to me that they was actually going to try to get me to sign up for her team. That was when I fell off with everything, and it really made me mad. And now here you are doing the same thing. I said, this is not something that I'm interested in. Not only I'm not interested in it, I'm not passionate about this. So I would not be connective, and I definitely won't be productive because I'm gonna always have a reason not to do anything. I'm not coming to your meetings, and I might not even be able to make your meetings. I might be out of the country, and I have my own thing. So that means it's going to take away from what I am passionate about. I'm passionate about coaching people the way I'm doing what I'm doing right now. I'm passionate about designing my shoes, and I'm passionate about that. Not what you got. So I told her straight up. I said, I'm serious. I'm not interested. I don't want to join your team. I told old girl that I was only giving her my number to befriend her, not to be a part of what she got going on. And then she said to me, I clearly understand. Maybe sometime in the future you might have an event and we can connect. And she said, I saw your website and I'm going to go through it with your imaging coaching. And I think that what you're doing is awesome. And I think that you're correct. I will leave you alone. Thank you. That was it. I said, you don't have to do all that sales stuff with me. But that was one of the things that I had to make clear. I'm a very direct person when I get annoyed. I try to be real cordial with people in the beginning, but the minute when I see they're not getting it, then I start being so firm and direct. I have boundaries, and I am serious about my boundaries, and you are crossing them. And you don't have to know me to know that you're crossing my boundaries, but the minute that I reveal that you are crossing them, you know. you know. And I do it with respect, but I do it to get the respect. You see what I'm saying? I hope you guys understand that. So also, if you keep chasing the next goal, hoping that you'll finally feel like you're enough, that's also a sign as well. So purpose doesn't feel frantic. I'm gonna let you know that now. It's not one of those things that you feel like you just have to be at an urgency about. Most of the time, people who are born are already doing their purpose just because they exist. Because their existence is supposed to be something that is for others. And usually those people don't live long. It's usually because of a baby that they died as a baby or at a teenager or at a young age, and their whole purpose was just to come and to exist for the person or the people that they was connected to. And it's hard to explain that. And you might say, what? Yes, I could explain it better, but it would take up so much time, and I don't really want to spend a lot of time. But I will just say this about it. Sometimes a child is born to reconnect family members who have drifted away from each other. And that child brings about a unity just because they exist. And the love that is unconditional that is spilled into that child and for that child, the family comes back together for that reason. And then when that reason has been resolved, then the child goes back to Christ, goes back to the Lord and be done with their purpose. You see what I'm saying? And it doesn't always feel good. It's not always supposed to feel good when they leave this world, but they did their job. All right. So your purpose is supposed to feel grounded. Purpose may stretch you, but it won't erase you. So let's talk about purpose feels like alignment, not exhaustion, you know? Yeah. Your purpose should be aligned with your life, not exhausting you every time you get up and moving around doing things. Let me say this a lot clearer. I think this would be a lot easier for me to say it this way. Being tired doesn't mean you're purposeful, that you're being purposeful. All right? Sometimes exhaustion is a sign to pause, not to push. All right? So purpose feels like this. This is what purpose actually feels like. It's an eternal yes inside of you. That is the silent whisper that is talking to you internally. Sustainable energy. You just feel like you can do it all day, every day, and you don't want to stop. You constantly know you're supposed to go to bed, but you still continue to keep working or doing whatever it is that you're doing. You keep going. That is your sustainable energy. Peace, even when things aren't perfect. You still have peace, even though things ain't perfect. Clarity, not chaos. So you have the clarity that you need, not the chaos. Purpose doesn't scream, it whispers. And hustle, it drains you and it drowns out the whisper that purpose is actually talking to you about. All right? So, how to reconnect with purpose without quitting your life? Some people think that because you just figure it out that you have something that you are supposed to be doing that's different from what you're doing now, doesn't necessarily mean that you need to stop what you're doing now. What it means is that you need to reconnect with your purpose, and then everything else is going to start fading itself out or pushing itself out. It's going to make the change slowly for you, okay? So you don't have to burn everything down, all right? You want to start small. That's what you want to do. I want you to ask yourself these questions, all right? I want you to okay, this is a question here. I got 3 questions I want you to ask first. And I want you to answer them truthfully. Question number 1 is, what drains me that I keep calling necessary? I asked a question before in other podcasts, and I don't want you to answer it. What drains me that I keep calling necessary? I want you to evaluate that. Whatever that is, I want you to evaluate it, and I want you to ask yourself, why is it necessary? Why do I say that it's necessary? And then this one right here, is it really necessary? See? Because it might not be. Question number 2 is, where am I proven instead of choosing? Where am I proven instead of choosing? All right. Question number 3. What feels aligned, but I keep postponing? Because you probably already know what you're supposed to be doing, but you keep putting it off. Purpose brings, what it does, it begins with a promise. And it to yourself, that you're going to give yourself permission to live the life that you are supposed to live. Permission to slow down. It also gives you permission to slow down. Permission to listen to your inner self. And permission to redefine success in your life. What I want you to understand is that you weren't meant to outrun yourself. Your purpose is not being in exhaustion, all right? It's not somewhere where you need to be exhausted all the time. It's not something that exhausts you, all right? It's waiting for your honesty. Be honest with yourself. Be truthful with yourself. And listen to yourself. Listen to the inner spirit that's inside of you. You don't need to do more than what you're already doing or what you know that you should do. You may need to just do less with intentions. Whatever it is that you're doing, you might want to slow down with intentions. Like, I'm slowing down for this reason, and that is what I'm slowing down for. This is the intention that I am giving to this. This is why I'm doing it. And if this episode resonated with you, I want you to share it with someone who has tried and who you have noticed that is hustling and they're confused with burnout. They need to slow down. All right. Until next time, breathe deeply, move gently, and remember, you are allowed to live a life that feels like your life and not someone else's life. In the next episode 7, we're going to talk about purpose, boundaries, as well as saying no without guilt. Now, we talked about that before, the saying no without guilt. That was the part about the peace. That's the reason why I tell all of you guys, if you haven't listened to the season before this one, which is season 8, go back to listen to season 8, the peace, because it'll help you to be able to do what you're doing, what you're about to do with living in your purpose. If you don't have peace in your life, you can't live in your purpose. That is actually just exactly the way it is. You know, it's crazy because I remember the last episode I told you guys I was going to go pick up my mother and bring her to Houston and everything. And I did that. But as I was on my way to San Antonio to pick her up, I had my aunt with me and we was driving down there. My aunt was telling me a lot of things about what my mom said. And a lot of the things she was saying was making my spirit feel uneasy. And almost to the point where I almost wanted to turn back around and go back home. Because I'm thinking, like, what's the point of me going to go get her if she already planning on going back to her house? This is a waste of my time. And I'm tired of being played like this. I'm tired of being taken for granted, having my time taken from me and stolen from me that I can't ever get back, only for her to continue to live the way she's living. But then I also heard the Holy Spirit, my inner spirit, okay, the Holy Spirit talking to me, telling me, you need to go get your mama no matter how you feel and bring her to your mother's house. I got a plan that I'm going to reveal to you after she gets to your aunt's house. And I went on ahead and I listened to the Holy Spirit. I went on and got my mom. When I got to my mother's house, oh my goodness, it got worse. My mom had this guy who I haven't seen in 10 years. He's coming out of her front door, coming to me, asking me to pay him $60. $60 to cut the yard. Okay, I'm thinking like, what? First off, I ain't seen you in 10 years, haven't talked to you in 10 years. Why are you asking me for money? And he's like, I'm gonna cut the yard. I said, did I ask you to cut the yard? And not just that, my mom is the one who was staying here, and this is the reason why we had a falling out the last time in the first place, because of how she tried to manipulate me out of my money of getting the grass cut when I've been getting the grass cut for the past 6 months. And I told her at some point that it's gonna come a time when she's gonna have to take it back over. And now that we got the grass in the yard at a good position, I would say having it in a good space or a good look or whatever you want to say about it is good. It's easy to keep up. And she blew up on me and started tripping and all this stuff and talking about that this is your yard, you should cut it. I'm like, but you living on the land, so you should cut it because you living on the land. Now, if you wasn't living on the land, then that's different. Okay, she tried me. Because she told me when she came out the house or whatever, started loading the car with all kinds of her stuff, she gonna tell me, well, this is off me now. I'm not here no more. So this land is on you. So yes, you need to pay him to cut the grass. I say, first off, I didn't come down here to spend no money on something that wasn't even in my budget. And yes, yes, you guys, I live by a budget. I sure do. And ain't nobody gonna throw me off my budget just because they think I got money. We ain't doing that. So I said that to her. I said, you're not finna throw me off my budget. I said, look here. I told him, I called him by his name. I said, look here. I said, this ain't in my budget. Not this month. I said, now I can go ahead and redo my budget for next month and then put you in, but we ain't doing it today. This grass ain't that bad. It's winter time. Ain't nothing wrong with this grass. You need to go on with all that. So anyways, she started throwing her hands up, talking about this off me, this off me. I ain't gotta worry about this more. I ain't gotta worry about this more. This all. So I said, okay, you sure right. This is off you. So I decided to leave. My aunt drove her car back to Houston. I drove by myself back to Houston. I left them. I said, I'm out. Bye. I did what I supposed to have done. I got you here, auntie. Drive her car back with her in it. Y'all go ahead and go to your house. Don't even come to my house. Go ahead and go. I'm out. And so that's exactly what I did. And as I was driving back to Houston, I was feeling bad. I was hurt. I was crying. I was like, this is just got to stop. I'm tired of this. I'm sick of this. And I started praying. I was like, God, you see what's going on. You see how my mom is. I'm trying my best to honor her, like you said, honor your mother and father for your days to be longer. I said, but you see the manipulation that's coming from her, and I can't keep living like this, trying to be the good daughter. I need a break from this, and I don't need just 6 months. I need this to stop. And I was like, I'm not asking you to take my mother home and then like that. I'm not asking for her to die because I don't want my mama dying. But what I want is peace. And I want the kind of peace that I don't have to worry about her in that house, living with strangers, end up getting killed or something like that. And I know she don't want to go into the nursing home and then like that because I don't want to break her heart in that way either. But make this situation with her and my aunt work out to where they get along with each other and my aunt and her can continue to live with each other. Make it work. Give them both the kind of peace that surpasses your understanding, all understanding that they need, so I can live in peace without worrying about her well-being. And I want to sell the property. That's what I end up hearing. Sell the property and she will never be able to go back. And I said to myself, well, maybe that's what I need to do then. Sell the property. I'm not trying to go back to San Antonio to live. And that house that she lives in is a mobile home. Is raggedy. It needs to go. And all she does is invite strange people to come in and out to live. And they tearing up the place. I mean, literally putting holes in the walls and it's ridiculous. It looks bad and it smells bad. And it's like enough is enough. So what I end up doing, I hired a lawyer. I got a lawyer to help me get guardianship over her so I can make decisions on her living arrangements as well as her financials. And I'm not trying to take no money from her. All I want to do is make sure that she is settled. That's it. Settled. Because she's not. She's not settled. She's afraid to live by herself, but yet she keeps running back to that house. It makes no sense. And of course, the lawyer was explaining to me about her dementia. He said that's what happens. He said I went through the same thing with my dad, the same exact thing. He befriended some strangers and had this guy living in the house with him. He stole over $5,000 from no, he said he stole over $50,000 from my dad, and I was like, okay, now I see what the Holy Spirit was saying. I got a plan for you after she moves in with your aunt. So I'm just going to be obedient and I'm just going to work this plan out. So you guys pray for me. Pray for me. Yes, pray for me. Now, do I sleep good at night? Yes, I do. I still sleep like a baby. I woke up today at 12:30 noon. I slept good. I do got to work tomorrow morning, but I did. I slept good. So I'm just letting you know, I have the peace that surpasses all understanding. I do. I have that peace. I just know that I got to get to work. I got things to get done. Now, my mom, she's not going to like the fact that I'm taking guardianship over her. But, it's time out for all the foolishness. Enough is enough. And there was another thing the lawyer had mentioned to me. He said my dad was upset with me for a while, but I had to do something. And he's like, that's what's going on with you. You're just going to have to do something. You have to take control. Unless you're going to find your mother dead when you go to visit her. And I was like, oh my God, that's what I don't want. So now you guys, and that's what I'm talking about for you guys to just do what's necessary, all right? So until next time, signing out, Alayla. Are you feeling overwhelmed and exhausted by stress? Introducing Stress Management with Imaging Coaching, your ticket to a calmer, more balanced life. In this journey you will be taking with us here at Imaging Coaching, we'll equip you with powerful techniques and tools you can use to conquer stress, regain control, and transform your life. From deep breathing exercises to mindfulness practices, you'll discover the tools to relax your mind and body. Come join us on this transformative path and unlock a world of inner peace and resilience. Don't let stress hold you back any longer. Take charge of your well-being today with Imaging Coaching, your stress management team. Discover clarity. Defeat stress through Imaging Coaching at imagingcoaching.com, at imagingcoaching.com, at imagingcoaching.com, at imagingcoaching.com.